Welcome to our program. I'm pleased to enjoy us today. Weekly news is coming from Natural TV, Ankara, Turkey. Let's discover the first title from our new edition with Islam. The new edition today presented by me, Aisha Sfaxi, and Islam. Hello, Islam.
Thank you.
May you introduce yourself?
I'm Nazmülİslam, working as a senior researcher in a research institute in Turkey. It's working on Asian purposes like Asian studies, and also I worked in a joint project in Cambridge University, UK. Now I'm also doing my PhD. It's almost going to finish. And my focus is like to comparative foreign policy, international politics, international relations. Thank you so much.
So great. Like that, I'm so happy to sharing our news today with you. Like that, you can make a lot of ideas, some details. They are more professional and like more precisely actually. So let's discover our first title for our new edition for today. Actually, as we see by the picture, I'd like to ask you on which basis the attacks, the Israeli attacks destined to Palestine today.
Okay, Ms. Aisha, thank you for this news. As you see, it happened last week. The Palestinian, they said like this slams actually Israeli security forces who attack on security headquarters of Nablus authorized by the Palestine. If you see the news, the Palestinian Authority always said, okay, they have a territory. Maybe it's not independent. It's not independent or announced by the world states or world countries, but this is true, they have a territory. But what we see, Israeli forces or Israelis always try to occupy one by one, step by step, the places of Palestine. And this is the one of the example of this. If you see the last couple of years, Israelis try to occupy the whole Palestine state, and they try to show to the world there is only one state. And if you see the more background or historical background of Israel-Palestine issue, there was something happened that shows to the world that two-state solution or those kind of steps. But
which means now you're going to talk about how the government Palestinian they intervene actually.
Exactly, from both of sides. Like before going to the Palestinian government, we have to see how the international governments, I mean international powerful states, sees this conflict. You know this, when Trump government came to the power in USA, they try to actually make it more easily and concisely to support to the Israel to interpret in a Palestinian state or Palestinian territory. If you see this, the Nablus security headquarters in West Bank side, and we know that there is another side of Palestine, Gaza, which is totally blocked by Israel. And those of steps is taking now after the Trump administration came to the USA, because they are directly and visibly support to the Israeli current government, and they said in some extent, and if you see, we talked even also before about this step, the Middle East peace process, what actually dealt or lead by the son-in-law of Trump, Kushner, and they try to make actually a one-state solution. I mean, like the Israel will lead the whole state, and maybe they have a plan to make a one Israeli state. And if you we talk that the Turkey is strongly said against this kind of process, and those kind of stuffs like Israeli security forces attack on Palestine, this is the one of the example of this kind of issue, that to try to show to the people there will be peace if Israel take the authority,
yes.
And there is no Palestinian territory.
With you, Islam, let's continue the second news for Anadolu Post today. Do you think that, as we see by the picture, do you think that this visit it just bases on mediation, just for calming the relationship between USA and Iran, or it has another intention actually intended, maybe it's discovered, it's intended intervention. Do you think it has another purpose or another goals about it?
Thank you, Miss Aisha. As we see, like the news, the Japanese Prime Minister, he has planning to go visit Iran.
It's like a visit, yes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is true, but there will be two things that we can assume or the perception, like to argue on this stuff, like to go to the Iran in this kind of crisis time, because we know we all are known that the Iran and US, there is some kind of crisis, even also Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia and Arab Emirates. So in this time, the countries, the one of the good from economic background, the countries, Japan is set a visit to the Iran. It shows that there is something actually that should to discuss. The first thing, that's what I think the Japanese Prime Minister, he went there because as you see that the USA President Donald Trump, he called to the Prime Minister of Japan. It shows they have a positive support for Japanese move to the Iran, because it's very clear what USA tried to say to the world. Okay, there is an economic sanction on Iran, there is so many sanctions on Iran, so nobody or no state should make a good relation with Iran. But in the meantime, the one of the great what we can say the good countries, the good cooperate or good relationship countries of Japan with USA, now they are moving to Iran and make a good negotiation. So it shows like it's a good signal that USA try to minimize the crisis in Middle East, especially with Iran. This is the one side, and the another side, it can be like at the possible the Japan, they are going there to talk as usual, the bilateral option. But the first one, what I think really that the Japan is moving there to actually minimize the problem, to tell to the Iranian counterpart
to make the situation more calm,
more calm, and to say actually not more calm. I think rather we can say like what USA think. They just try to go there on behalf of the USA. In one side, we can say like Japan, they will say okay, that's if you want to calm the relations, let's do this or let's do that. I mean, try to make some more options rather than to make one option, make a fight or war, because we see that the situation is going to be more worse in Middle East, especially the Hormuz Strait.
Yes, it's
so this kind of option is a really good option for world peace and the negotiation, those items.
Like that with Islam now, we make zoom on children. They are Turkish children in India. They left amazing, great food. They food left print. Actually, it's so great what they make. As you know, all of the left footprint of children, they are all the time amazing and so great actually, with something like spontaneity and so pure, and it can improve the international relationship between Turkey and India. But I'm going to let you the comment for you, because you are from India, like that okay. you can express on your country more better than me actually.
Though actually I'm not from India, I'm from Bangladesh, but it's true, like the region from South Asia, yeah, it's very true, and it's very important to build a good relations. I just want to firstly include one thing to go explain. You know, the South Asian countries, especially India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, they have a very deep rooted relation with Turkey.
Sure.
From it's very huge. I mean, from the Ottoman Empire to now, they have a very deep rooted relations. Even in the time of First World War, from that part, they have a very good contribution to Turkish part. On the other hand, like let's see the fact, like what the Indian embassy, they did these things in Turkey. They arranged the paintings competition in Turkey to find out like how Turkish children they are seeing India. And if you know this, there is almost more than 1,400 children, they attend this competition, and they announced that the Indian embassy, they said who win, who get prize, they will give a ticket to go India. And you know this, that the first one who got this first price, they make something like Bollywood movies style, like how they're making dance. I want to include one more thing, like in Turkey, Indian like film industry, especially Bollywood, is really very famous. I mean, the Turkish people, they like so much. If you ask to the Turkish people like about Amir Khan or Shah Rukh Khan or like those kind of, they know very well because they are very well known with them. And this kind of initiative, it also improves so much cultural relations. That's what the Indian ambassador even said, like we are trying to focus on cultural relation. That's our relation is not only trade or economic relation. We are focusing on culture. We are focusing on deep relation to people contact. And this is the one of the example. That's what we see.
Yeah.
So this kind of stuff is really,
yes.
We should actually say like, okay, Turkish position and Turkish option to the South Asia and especially from Indian side, we have to also acknowledge India is now the one of the most great economic and rising power country. And on the other hand, Turkey is also the rising power country. So this kind of South-South relation is very much important for the world peace and for world more contribution to the world system, to the international system and world order. And that's what we see, this kind of small things, and it's the initiation for the future.
So by this title, we're going to concentrate on the politics event and the big polemic about the statistic election. Do you have some details about it? When you talk about Tokvay, he wins Pakistan actually. So we have to talk about statistic elections.
Yeah, we already see that the Tokayev, he won the presidential election in Kazakhstan. Well, first actually to say about the election stuff, we have to see the country. The Kazakhstan is one of the world richest country in Central Asia, and geographically this area is very much important for so many factors, especially from the Asian stuffs like the rising China, on the other hand another powerful country is Russia. So all of this stuff, this country is very much important, and this country's political development is also important because of their strategic position. So whatever this, the Tokayev, he already win, and he is the legacy of the former president Nur Sultan. So that's the very much important because Nur Sultan is very much respected leader in Kazakhstan. So now we see the Tokayev also, he win, and he got almost 70.76% in the election out of, I mean, 77% vote casted. So it really shows like a very good win in the election, and he got very good votes in the election. So the overall stuff, it shows the Kazakhstan is going to be peaceful process of their smooth political process, smooth democratic process, and it shows the peaceful issue in the Central Asia itself, the Kazakhstan, and it's also important because the peace process of Syrian stuffs, what we say the Astana process, it also happening in this country, and so many stuffs is the country is very much important. So the country's peaceful politics is very much, stability of the politics is very much important for world politics, and that's what we shows to this election. It shows like the Kazakhstan's the political process is going to be smooth, and there is political stability, and the process will in future will be more peaceful than today. That's what we can expect.
Yes, thank you so much. Ghana has leapfrogged over South Africa to become the African continent's top gold producer, according to research by Bloomberg News Agency. South Africa has for decades been the continent's pyramid gold miner, but higher production costs and troubled labor relations have hobbled the industry there. Bloomberg says all the odds have. In addition, the new investment, Ghana has low costs. Citing figures from the Ghana Chamber of Mines and the Mineral Council of South Africa, Bloomberg says that Ghana produced 4.8 million ounces of gold in 2018 as opposite to South Africa's 4.2 million ounces. Sudanese security forces fired tear gas and leave ammunition to disperse protesters setting up barricades in Khartoum. 4 people have been reported killed on the first day of the strike, according to doctors aligned to the opposition. Campaigners have called off ongoing civil disobedience from Sunday to make it as difficult as possible for the military to govern Sudan. It comes days after the military crackdown left dozens dead. Will crowded for Kenya's human bullfight. Among the Luo community in western Kenya, a tradition of bullfighting exists, originally practiced to mark important events such as the funeral. The sport has evolved into more competitive and at times profitable pursuit. Actually, during this week, it's a big polemic about S-400 system Russia, and Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he said that the S-400 system is already bought. Do you have some details about it, and what makes us sure about it actually?
This Turkey is always saying this thing, this statement. It's not the first statement. Turkey is from last couple of months. Turkey is saying already it's a done deal, it's done deal, it's done deal. Because Turkey 400 is already bought. We already fixed our agreement with Russia, I mean the counterpart. The fact is like why this question is now very important. The US, they say it, like you cannot buy S-400 because you are the member of NATO countries, and as a member of NATO country they have a common things. If you want to buy, you have to buy from inside the countries, and if you buy again from Russia the S-400, we will make impose a sanction on you, and we will not give even the F-35 plane to you, I mean to Turkey. So those are the fact after to make a statement or to give a statement for Turkey, say that okay, it's a done deal, we already bought S-400 and we already fixed everything. Even the last couple of days ago, the news shows that Turkey, they sent a military staff to Russia to take a training how to use this S-400. So those are the steps shows like Turkey already bought it, and Turkey already fixed these things to take back in Turkey. And on the other hand, those fact is those kind of things, the S-400 is really important for Turkish security. That's what we see, and that's why the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, he also said he imposes imposed so many times. Okay, Turkish need it, and for their internal security, they need to buy it, and they will take it, and it's a done deal. They did it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Among the Lohi community in western Kenya, a tradition of bullfighting exists, originally practiced to mark important events such as the funeral. The sport has evolved into a more competitive and at times profitable pursuit. Community leaders in Kakamega country form leagues and work to have it recognized as a legitimate sport. Adil, son of Palestinian ambulance paramedic Mohammed Sobhi al-Judaili, 36, chanted slogans as he attended his father's funeral with thousands of people in Al-Barij refugee camp in Gaza. Al-Judaili was wounded by rubber-coated metal bullets while providing first aid to participants in a weekly protest in the mothering Gaza Strip. Islam, actually, by this title, what does mean the intervention of Bill Clinton in his speech?
The news shows that Bill Clinton, he made a speech in Kosovo.
In NATO.
In Kosovo, actually, in Kosovo Independence Day. This is the important thing to we have to know this Kosovo, like it's the 20th their Independence Day. But till now, Kosovo is not like that kind of way of independence, because almost 100 countries support Kosovo as an independent state. But on the other hand, like Russia, China, and including Serbia, they don't support or make an independent Kosovo. By the way, Bill Clinton, he made this speech in this Independent Day because Kosovo, for their independence in the time of their war against Yugoslavia and also including Serbia, the current Serbian state, there was a genocide happened by this country, I mean the counterpart of Serbia. And in that time, this is USA and also like NATO member countries, they helped Kosovo so much, and that's why Kosovo always try to make it grateful to them. And the Bill Clinton, he went to there and said like what about their intervention in that time of war. And you know that the NATO countries, they make a 79 days long air strike against Serbian security forces and helped the Kosovo Liberation Army. And those kind of stuffs actually shows like why Kosovo's independence and Kosovo's link with NATO member countries and with Western countries and European countries, Kosovo position in there through their independence. Even also this 20th the 20th anniversary is really important for also Kosovo to continue their future.
Thank you so much. Activists of We for Future camp set up a climate camp in the governmental district of the capital in Berlin, Germany yesterday. The campers wanted to alert throughout different activities of the third climate change and have declared he war the climate and emergency conditions. Talking of climate conditions, there was a heavy rainfall in Etimesgah district of Ankara in Turkey. Rainfall flooded the roads and some public transport buses had to use residential roads to carry passengers. Actually, it's a big event during this week about athletic events between Afghanistan and Turkey. Do you have some details about it?
Thank you, Ms. Aisha. As you see the news, the Afghanistan bikers, they used 2,500 miles by biking their bicycle, and they came to Turkey. And they said like they try to show to the Turkey like, okay, Turkey and Afghanistan is a brotherly country, and they have a really very good relations beyond their economic or beyond the other relations like trade. They have a very good relation as a brother, as a friendly country, as a cultural country, and they try to show to the Turkish people or Turkish government like, okay, we have a deep-rooted relations. And that's why they come from Afghanistan to Turkey through bicycles. Can you imagine this 2,500 miles they ride a cycle and they came to here? And this is the actual fact that happened the last week. Like, okay, the bikers, they shows their love and their lovable things, friendly things to the Turkish people and Turkey.
The Nigerian Senate elected Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan of the governing All Progressive Congress (APC) as its new president. His main challenger, Muhammad Ali Nudman, embraced him in a cheerful and congratulatory mood immediately after the result was announced. Mr. Lawan from Yobe State has been in the National Assembly since 1999 as a member of the lower chamber, the House of Representatives, and later as a senator. He is believed to have the support of President Muhammad Buhari, who wants a parliamentary leadership that would ease frictions between the executive and the legislature. Lee White, a British-born man, has been made Gabon's first free minister after the last one was sacked following a timber smuggling scandal. He holds a dual British Gabonese citizenship, has been a prominent governor in the oil-rich African state and the head of the Gabon's National Marks Agency. 300 containers of Kivasingu wood, which is illegal to export, were discovered at a port near the capital Libreville earlier this year. As we see by this picture, and especially when we focus on this title, we remark a horrible event in Africa. Actually, 600 million people without electricity, and we ask how the government will intervene to solve this problem.
Thank you, Ms. Aisha. You see, there's 600 million people. I mean, they will be out of electricity in Africa. That's what the IEA they say, make a report. By the way, like normally now in Africa, out of 1% is not getting electricity. This is the really the fact-based things in Africa. I mean, the reality-based. Statistics for Africa and data shows like the Africa they are really lack of problem for electricity or those kind of energy. So IEA they said this report in future it will be really more dangerous for Africa and they need to focus on this kind of stuff like energy sector, and or maybe there's African countries like especially African Union with the international cooperation should focus on this stuff like to develop the energy sector and to focus on their stuff because it's very important for electricity, not for their own country, not for normal electricity but for their energy, to develop their energy sector and like their national economic development. They need to focus on this stuff.
Turkish road construction works slain by PKK terrorists will on the job were laid the rest in eastern Turkey. The two were killed on Monday while building a road in the Yuskava district, said a statement by the Hakkari governor's office. The workers' funerals were held in their hometown in Eriksvan province of Turkey, 118 kilometers away. Turkey and Azerbaijan are determined to strengthen cooperation in joint energy and transport projects. The Turkish Parliament's deputy speaker said. Surya Sadi Bilgic, accompanied by a delegation from the Turkish Parliament, met Azerbaijan's Parliament Speaker Oktay Azdov in Baku. Bilgic said excellent relations between Turkey and Azerbaijan is vital for the stability of the region. He also said that Turkey wants a resolution of Arkada conflict within Azerbaijan. Islam, when we focus on this title, actually, as we know that last week they said that Turkey suffering from economic problem. So, but when we look at these opportunities, they create another project in the Broad. It's economic project like 34 branch of Halkbank opened in the Broad. Is it possible actually when we talk about this economic crisis? Is it possible to create another opportunities in the Broad?
Yeah, exactly. In some extent, yeah, there is some ups and downs, some inflation or some because of Turkish position in some aspects. Yeah, Turkey is facing some little problem, but on the other hand, this is true. Turkey is really emerging economic country from so many perspective. For example, this is the one of the fact. Turkey is opening their 34th branch of Halk Bank in Serbia, and it shows like the Turkey they are really creating something beyond imagination. They are processing to develop their economy, and Halk Bank this process in abroad, especially in Serbia, it will increase the more economic cooperation with other countries, especially like trade cooperation, businesses, whatever it is, internal, external business, import, export. So those kind of fact, of course, it will add the more value in Turkish economy, in Turkish business, in Turkish trade. So this the branch which will operate in Serbia. I believe like it will really create more fantastic work for both Turkey and Serbia.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Happy to sharing the news for you during all this week. It's really amazing and extremely interested. Thank you so much, Islam.
Thank you so much, Miss Aisha, for inviting me this fantastic program. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Like that, we finish our weekly news for today. Keep always on touch, always on Natural TV, Ankara, Turkey.